Hello, everyone. Gary Laubach, Mike Joseph. We are once again behind the mic, getting ourselves ready for Duke, but we don't want to talk about Duke yet. We want to talk about that win over Sacred Heart by the Leopards. They go to 1-0. They win that ball game 19-14. It was a scrap. It was difficult. You don't mind that so much in the first game. And, wow, Jamar Curtis put on a show.
He really did, and you got to give credit, like Jamar did at the end of the game in the interview, to his offensive line. They came out of the chute, they blocked well, they got on their double teams, they moved people. And again, you and I talked about it. Jamar's tough to find behind that big offensive line. You got 300-pound guys up there, and Jamar's lucky, if he's 5'5", but he's got quickness and explosiveness that I didn't see as much last year. Glimpses of it last year, but he was terrific. And I think you got to give credit to John Troxell and the offensive coordinator, TJ. They did a great job staying with the run, controlling the football in the first half, and they made a statement in that first half.
Yeah, I thought the offensive line really did a nice job, and I agree with you. Jamar doesn't need a big hole.
No.
He gets to get a little bit of light, and as you mentioned, he's a little difficult to find, and he is explosive. Extremely, extremely quick. Jermaine Conyers when he was in there, Najee Adams when he was in there. Yep. They also did a nice job, too. A little concerned maybe about the pass protection. That's probably something we have to work on, but, boy, we haven't talked about the running game being this successful in years.
Well, yeah, you and I harped on it for years. You got to be able to run the football, and that's all we talked about. Inside the huddle, that's all we talked about. And they came to play. I think Lafayette came out of the gate. They completely won the first half. They dominated it. But the pass protection bothers me. They got to find a way to get the ball down the middle of the field. Phil Ing and I talked about it. I know they're taking their shots down the field, which are getting some of the safeties out of the box so they can block 7 in the box instead of 8. But this week's going to be a different test. But they have to find a way to get the short passing game going. You saw the Najee Adams play out of the backfield. Beautiful. They're going to have to do more of that, those long handoffs. But find a way to get a rhythm for the quarterback, whether it be Schuster or DeNoble. They're going to have to find a rhythm and be able to complete those short passes so you can be 6 for 8 instead of 3 for 12. You can't do that. At some point in time, you're going to have to move the chains on 3rd down and 7, and Lafayette has a little bit of trouble still doing that.
And we're really not sure exactly if Ryan Schuster is healthy or not. He did not come back. Dean DeNoble came in, did a nice job, had a good run, 2 for 3 throwing the football, got that Najee Adams pass right where it needed to be for a big, big play. So the offense really, really looked good. The offensive line, I thought, played admirably. The defense. The defense played a really good ball game. They played a good ball game. We were concerned about the front 4. It turned out to be a front 3. They didn't play for all that much, Mike, but the front 3 looked really good, and especially a couple of the young guys.
Yeah, I thought the young guys, Michael Vaughn was terrific. You got, obviously, Amir Crawley in there. Jalen Joseph played well. But you got good play out of Tim O'Hearn. You got good play out of other guys up front, and I thought the linebackers were terrific. Watching Preston Forney fly around, watching Marco, watching Billy Schaefer fly around. They make up for some mistakes maybe up front, but the front 7 is, like I said, I think they're faster than they were last year, and that's saying a lot, obviously losing the guys we did. But they fly to the football, they sure tackle. You always worry about early in the year being able to tackle well, not miss tackles. I thought they did that. And then you have guys like Sekou White coming up from the secondary to make plays. You have good corner play as well. I thought Taylor Smallwood was big. He's a big kid, did a great job, and give Lafayette's defense credit because they did score on that fade route over the top of Dubois, who's a little bit smaller. Then they put Taylor Smallwood on the same guy on the same play to finish the game. So give Mike St. Germain and his defensive staff credit. But the defense flew around. They made plays, probably looking for more of a turnover here or there, which they're going to need. But they are athletic, and they can run.
I ventured to say that last night's ball game, we're doing this on a Tuesday afternoon, last night's ball game to me was the biggest upset of the week in college football. I mean, I know you look at Colorado over TCU, but TCU is ranked 17th. Clemson was ranked number 9, and Duke comes out and wins that ball game. I don't know. To me, the most valuable player, and I'll use player loosely, was Mike Elko. Their head coach has done a spectacular job in 2 years, and to win that ball game last night over Clemson shows you they're not satisfied with how good they were last year. No. They want to be better.
They want to take it to another level, and you saw what he's brought here from Texas A&M. He's done a lot of what Trox has done. They've changed the culture, and David Cutcliffe was a fantastic coach. He's Peyton Manning's coach and Eli's coach. But this guy's come in and changed the culture of they're going to be a strong running football team. They're going to be able to throw the ball, and they're going to play defense, which they really never have done in the past. So this has been a team that, in the ACC where they figure out, well, playing Duke, we're going to win the game. Not anymore. Mike Elko, again, has changed the culture, much like Coach Troxell's done here. The kids do one thing. They believe that they're in every ball game. And last night, they took it to the Clemson Tigers. Even though Clemson turned it over, had 4 consecutive, red zone 0 points type of things, they turned it over. The defense made plays. And I tell you what, this is a strong team. And I mentioned to you as I walked in the door, one of the best teams we've played in 50 years.
They have 19 starters back from last year's ball club, which won nine football games and a bowl game. 9 on offense. They have 8 on defense, 2 on special teams. 7 of them are all ACC, and it all starts at the top. Riley Leonard may very well be as good as any quarterback in the United States.
Yeah, he's right now ranked high in the draft for next year. He gets rid of the ball. He understands the complete offense, his second year in it. To see the way the ball comes out of his hand quickly. I love the way he slides in the pocket left, right, makes quick decisions, can run the ball, that 44-yard run after escaping. You got to get him on the ground. He's a bigger kid than you think. But he does everything right, and he controls the offense for Mike Elko. Mike coming over here as a defensive coordinator, so I'm sure he's turned the offense over to somebody he trusts. But Riley Leonard, you got to trust, and he's got weapons on the outside. He's got a running game right now. Everything a quarterback wants, he's a big, big-time weapon.
We often talk about sticking your foot in the ground. Watching him run the football last night, I don't think I've seen anybody stick their foot in the ground the way he did and fake out a bunch of those cornerbacks last night for Clemson. He runs the ball as well as anybody I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, he threw for 175 last night, but he ran for 100. He ran for 100, and like you said, elusive in the open field. Guys like Marco are going to have to get him on the ground. So do you spy? What does our defense do? But this is going to be a monster test. And again, a test that Lafayette wants. Let's find out where we are. I know you looked at Colgate last week, the way they lost to Syracuse, a little bit of a mismatch. On paper, Lafayette's not supposed to win this football game, but they can show up. It doesn't mean they can't show up, play ball, and let Duke know that we're here to play.
I'll just build on that a little bit. Is this a good game for us?
I would rather see this maybe a year or two down the line where Coach Trox has established some more players that he wants here, and we're young up front defensively. I would have loved this game last year on the schedule with our defense and this year with our offense, hopefully. So it doesn't fall at the greatest point in time, but you know what? As soon as it is who it is. We're going down there to play. It's a great experience for the kids. They're going to have a wonderful time down there. The atmosphere down there is different than it used to be 2 years ago. The way they rushed the field for the win of Clemson, this is going to be a great atmosphere. Our kids are going to remember this for the rest of their lives. But go down there with a willingness to play well and show them that you're going to show up.
Well, the key will certainly be, will we be able to run the ball, much like we did against Sacred Heart? Well, they got a couple of guys, Dwayne Carter and Jamie Franklin. They're big, they're huge, they're probably NFL bound. So we're going to have to run against them.
Yeah, 2 big, stout defensive linemen, guys that make plays. One of them blocked the field goal. That was him, blocked the field goal. Then caused that fumble inside the 5-yard line with penetration. So we're going to have to get 2 guys on them. Can we get to the second level? Maybe not. But can we get 2 guys on? Can we create some misdirection? They did give up some plays I saw in the secondary with some drag routes, some routes across the middle, some misdirection. Can we create that? Can TJ do that? Because if you're going to try to run the football at these 2 big guys, you're going to have trouble. But we're a big offensive line as well. So Olmstead's got to step up. Barr's got to step up. Obviously, the tackles played well last week. This is an offense. It's a challenge for our offensive line. But can we at least slow the game down and run the football enough to hang on to it and get some first downs?
What are we doing inside the huddle?
Today we're going to talk about linebacker play. I loved the Preston Forney last week, emotion. I love Marco. I love Schaefer. We're going to talk about linebacker play, reading through the triangle, getting yourself downhill to the football with no false steps.
We will be back next week when we get ready for our first home game. Mike and I will be up in the booth for that one. Can't wait for that. That'll be against Columbia. But first we have to go to Duke. It will be at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. That ball game is a 6 o'clock start. You can watch it, I believe, on ESPN+. I think the game will be on ESPN+. Enjoy it. Make sure you come back and join us next week. Mike and I are behind the mic.